Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about ashwagandha dosage, side effects, and the difference between KSM-66 and Sensoril. So let's dive right in. Hey guys, welcome to Nutrition Library, your trusted resource for an evidence-based approach to supplementation. If you haven't already, I would definitely recommend hitting the red subscribe button that's below this video and then giving us a thumbs up so that we can get this content out to those that need it. So again, we're going to be diving into how to dose ashwagandha, as well as talk about the side effects that are associated with ashwagandha, and then dive into some of the differences between the two primary extracts that are on the market, which are KSM-66 and Sensoril. So when it comes to dosing ashwagandha, there's one primary thing that you have to be looking out for, and that is what type of ashwagandha you're actually using. Now, there are four primary types of ashwagandha that are on the market currently. One is a basic standardized extract that is not patented. It's not standardized across the board. And then there is two primary standardized patented extracts, which are KSM-66 and Sensoril. And then there's also the basic root powder, which is simply the root of ashwagandha ground into a powder and then capsulized or just simply put into a tub for you to be able to take. Now, in order to talk about the dosage and side effects of ashwagandha, we really need to understand the differences in those four types of extracts and powders. Now, the primary thing we want to talk about here is simply the percentage of active ingredients that are in ashwagandha. So ashwagandha has a compound in it which is known as the primary medicinal compound in ashwagandha, and those are known as withanolides. Now, the big thing that you want to look out for here is the percentage of withanolides in the type of ashwagandha that you're using. Now, when we're talking about the basic root powder that is not extracted at all, there's no extraction process that it is put through, you're usually looking at under 0.5% of withanolides in that root powder. When you compare that to things like KSM-66, for instance, which has 5%, there's almost a 10-fold increase in the amount of active ingredients in KSM-66 when compared to the basic root. Now, the unpatented version of the extract usually has anywhere between 1 to 2.5% of withanolides in it, which is pretty decent. But again, when compared to things like KSM-66 or even Sensoril for that matter, it has almost half of the active ingredients that are in KSM-66, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing. However, obviously you're going to have to take twice the amount of that basic extract in order to compare it to the dosage of KSM-66. Now, Sensoril is a patented extract that has 10% of withanolides in it, which sounds amazing, but the difference between KSM-66 and Sensoril is that Sensoril uses not just the root in order to get the withanolides out. And so what you have in Sensoril is a super high percentage of withanolides in it. However, it also doesn't have the correct percentage of other active ingredients that the basic root would have and that you would get from typically taking ashwagandha. And so one of the major side effects, and really the only side effect that's associated with ashwagandha, is a lethargic mood and sedation. So that's one of the main reasons that I don't like to take Sensoril, is because it's too sedating for me. It's difficult to get the proper dosage in order for it to not be sedating. And therefore, that's why I typically stick to KSM-66. And that's because it's kind of like the middle ground when it comes to the different extracts versus even the root powder itself. And so KSM-66 not only has a kind of like medium ground when it comes to the amount of active ingredients, it also is a broad spectrum extract, meaning that it has the equal amount of proportions of other ingredients when it comes to those ingredients compared to the withanolides that are in ashwagandha itself. So when it comes to dosing these particular types of extracts, When it comes to just the ground powder itself, most research is saying that you're going to want to take anywhere between 1 to 3 grams. And so when it comes to the basic extract, not the KSM-66 or Sensoril, but the basic non-patented extract, you're probably going to want to stay in between the 500 to 1 gram. And then when it comes to the KSM-66, you're probably going to want to stay in between 300 to 900 milligrams. And then when it comes to the Sensoril, you're going to want to try to take anywhere between 1 and 500 milligrams. Now, one thing that's really important to point out here, this is not an exact science. And so though we do have a ton of research on the different types of ashwagandha and even different dosages to use, everyone's body is different. And if you are, for instance, a larger individual compared to a smaller individual, or a male compared to a female, those things are going to drastically affect the amount of ashwagandha that you want to take. And so my recommendation is that you would simply just try them all. Try them all, figure out what works best, how they make you feel, and really stay in tune with the effects that they have on your mental state, your physical performance, and any other effect that they might have on you. Now, when it comes to the time of day that you're going to want to take your ashwagandha, it really totally depends on what you're using it for. For instance, if you're using it for physical or mental performance, you're probably going to want to use it right before that performance. If you're using it for general anxiety, you might want to take it during the morning. Ashwagandha has been shown to decrease cortisol output in the body, and cortisol typically spikes in the morning. And so if you want to kind of blunt that cortisol spike, the morning time is a great time to take it in order to prevent the effects of anxiety throughout the day. And then if you're trying to take it for sleep quality, I would recommend not taking it directly before sleep. Most experienced users say that taking it roughly 2 hours before bed usually gives them better results, and I've found the same with myself. And so again, when it comes to the time of day to take it, it's really dependent on what you're looking for. Now, you can also just simply split the dose throughout the day, and so take a third of the full day's dose in 3 different doses throughout the day and take them with a meal. I would highly recommend taking ashwagandha with a meal. A lot of the compounds that are in ashwagandha are actually fat soluble, so they need fat in order to be properly absorbed into the body. And so I would definitely recommend taking your ashwagandha, and whenever you're taking it, take it with a meal. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'll be reading those comments as quickly as possible and answering as quickly as possible. So again, if you have anything, put it down below and I'll contact you back.